Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid-July 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes into energy and see what's happening for the beautiful Scorpio collective. My guides and spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for Scorpio gang here? What do you got for us in early to mid-July? It's Cancer season still, beautiful time of year. Let's see what energies we could pluck out of the air for you. Yeah, what energies, messages, insights can we share with our good friends? And I'm just going to take a real quick look at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. Let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Scorpio gang in early to mid-July. What energies are floating around us, my guides? Talk to me. What do we got for our good friends? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, very watery, water sign type of energy. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised, because even with the other water signs, I've been seeing a very similar type of vibe. So emotionally, you might be a little more intense than you normally are when I see cards like this. Lots of mind and imagination going on. Before we fully dive into that, though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the July subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this card. So it seems like a very simple card on its face. You see that lady, she's sitting under the umbrella. She has a book in her lap. It's like she's writing something down, and there's that beautiful etheric background and bubbles. It's very simple when it comes to these oracle cards, and it just gives me that etheric imaginative energy that I was talking about. Now, for some Scorpios out there, I need to pass along the message that Spirit might be trying to communicate to you through dream, via dream. So for some of you, having a dream journal could be very important moving forward. And that's a message that used to come up a lot, not so much lately, but it's showing here. Now, for another portion of the Scorpio collective, you might need to throw your energy into some sort of creative pursuit, because if you are feeling things more intensely than you normally are, or you're in your head, in your mind, more than you normally are, you need to express that energy in one form or another. Now, does it have to be creative? No. I mean, you could do it via reading, speaking, writing, painting, sculpting, you name it. There's a lot of different ways to get that creative energy out. But I've been seeing it very strong in all the water signs specifically for this week. So if you're feeling rather intense, that might be the answer. That might be the key. Let's get into tarot now. And I always say with that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a footnote. So let's get you 3 cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. What do we got here for Scorpio? And yeah, again, with that first card, I felt a very strong emotional intensity, which Scorpio is known for. Right, but let's get it going here. And while we shuffle this up and get it ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading, Peculiar. Right, I think it was a title I've never used before. The reading was called They Are Testing You. And a big theme I was picking up in last week's reading was either one, there was a situation or someone you might have been testing, or vice versa. Maybe there was someone trying to test your reaction, gauge your reaction. So just know that that energy could bleed over for a couple of weeks. So I haven't really seen one like that. I mean, I've seen it show up in Scorpio readings where it's like, oh yeah, you want to test something out real quick, but it was much more intense and purposeful in last week's reading. So let's see what shows up this week. As you know, every reading, you just take it how it hits for you. It's never set in stone, and we could be seeing your vibe or someone else's, right? So let's get it going. 3 cards to start us off with, Scorpio gang, please. What do you got for us in early to mid-July? Okay, Magician, very powerful manifestation and control-based card. I saw that in the Pisces reading as well. So I always find it interesting when I film all the different zodiac signs that I see these themes that go through the similar elements. But I like that Magician there so far. Let's get a couple more. Fool card. Okay, you might be building up to something big here, Scorpio. New journey, new adventure. I really like that. It's a good action card. Let's get one more, and we'll really talk about it, piece it all together. Tower. Whoa. Okay. Out of nowhere. So something could pick up steam really, really, really quick. Okay, and I do feel for a lot of you, this could be a nice tower. This could be a really good tower, because I'm not as cautious as I normally am with that. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. And I've been saying since that very discreet oracle card in the beginning that I've been feeling a strong intensity, and the tarot cards concur. If you kindly look in the box here, yeah, at first glance, all major arcana, all very powerful. Like we have the first card of the major arcana, the whole entire tarot deck. We have the manifesting magician, controller of all elements. Then we have the tower right there, which is one of our cards. It's one of Scorpio's cards. So when you talk about power, this is kind of what you want to see. And I feel like it could be really positive for a lot of you, like something, boom, picking up steam really, really quick. So I like it so far. Now let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out. Position number one, the magician. And when we get a spread full of major arcana, these are huge archetypes that could really affect our life's journey as a whole. It's much bigger than a weekly reading. Like these are things that could reverberate for quite a long time. Now, the magician is the card of manifesting. Notice the magician has the infinity symbol over their head. All the elements are depicted here, and he is the master of them all. So when I see it come up in a weekly spread, it's Spirit saying like, hey, Scorpio, your powers for creating and manifesting are heightened in this time. This is interest in spirituality. It's interest in ritual and anything of that sort. And when I see the magician, it just tells me like, hey, there is something you could really bring forth. To me, it kind of talks to the magnetism of Scorpio energy, right? And when you have strong Scorpio placements like us, we bring a lot of things towards us. Some things are really, really good. Some things not so much, right? And this magician is telling me that Scorpio magnetism is at play here. Okay, now the magician also represents control. I already mentioned that, like someone that wants to control their destiny, control their path forward, control their life in one way or another. And that can be good, but control issues can also be a challenge, right? Like someone who's overly controlling. There's always going to be things that are out of our hands. Moving to the center, we have the Fool card. Okay, this represents the zodiac sign of Aries, the initiator, right? And Aries, believe it or not, it's my personal opinion, and I'm not biased, that Aries and Scorpio have a lot of similar tendencies, right? They're both ruled by Mars type of energy, action oriented. Even though Scorpio is a fixed sign, they are ruled by that aggression of Mars. And when the Fool comes up, it's generally super positive. It's great for anything new, adventures, journeys. It's moving towards something with a light heart and an open heart. It's really nice. But I can also say the Fool card could be extremely spontaneous. There is a warning with this card about not flying off the handle, not doing something you're going to regret. Maybe thinking something through could be a big warning when it comes with the Fool card, especially when it's next to the Tower, right? Because we go from like the magician to the Fool coming in, making action, and boom, the Tower just picks up steam super quick. So I'm hoping this is good for the vast majority of us here, because I see something, either a manifestation is going to come to you real quick, or just something could go from like 0 to 100, then to 200, like boom, 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 like really quick. So we'll talk about it. Again, the Fool card is great. There's a lot of potential with this card, beautiful new journey, but at the same time, it's surprising and spontaneous. Now on to the back end, we have the Tower. Beautiful for a Scorpio reading, in my opinion, because it's one of our cards, right? And it seems like Scorpio gets all the scary cards in the deck, right? Like we get the Death card, we get the Tower, and the imagery is a little bit concerning. And I always say when it comes to the Tower, it just represents shock. It doesn't tell us what type of shock it is. It could be shock and power in a good way, or it could be the other way around, starting something new, right? Letting something crumble to start something new, the cycle of rebirth, right? And that is very much Scorpionic type of energy. Now, the Tower is coming one way or another, right? Like if the foundation is shaky, or whether it's somebody's actions, it's just shocking. Okay, so I really want to see whether this is a really good one or a rough one. But I will say this, the way the energy is lining up, it's like we have the magician, he's manifesting, then someone makes action, takes the first step, and then it just kaboom in one way or another. So something is coming to a head, that's for sure. Very intense, powerful energy here, Scorpio. So I want to dive deeper on all of it. So let's get that Tower in right there. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. I feel like we had a Tower a couple weeks ago too. I think we might have. But yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that magician here. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages that you want to give to Scorpio, you could drop it down in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Magician time. Why is the Magician here? Quick. Very quick. Page of Swords in reverse. Okay. All right, so this is a very rebellious type of energy I'm picking up here, Scorpio. So whether it's coming from you or somebody else, it's like, no, I got to shake something up here. I got to do something. I'm not sitting back any longer. And this is another thing I saw for you in recent weeks as well, where it's like, okay, well, I've been passive about something for too long, or I've let something slide for too long. So be aware in the coming days and weeks that you might get that feeling about various different things, whether it's work, whether it's relationships. And I'll explain to you why that you might just feel like, all right, well, now's the time to act. Now's the time to do something. I've let this go for too long, or I've been in this energy for too long. We have the Page of Swords in reverse. Now, what do we know about the Page of Swords? It's air sign energy. It represents youth. It also represents new, similar to the Fool card. And it is defensive. It does speak about talking and new things, of course, but it has its guard up, and it's very I would say it's just on edge when I see it, but it's the Watcher of the tarot deck. So when I see it in reverse, it's like no more watching, no more being defensive. I'm going to take action. I'm going to make something happen, and I'm not going to let it slide anymore. So for some of you, if there's something you've been waiting to do or thinking about doing, now could be the time to make a move. Now could be a time to make an action. If that's not you, that might just be how someone else is feeling too. Like, all right, now's time to pounce. Now's my time to make a move, and it could happen really quick with the way the energy is lining up. So we're just going to leave it at that. And for another small portion of you, there could just be something that you're ignoring, that you're purposely like, yeah, no, I'm not paying attention to that no more. I refuse. Let's move in on the Fool. That's just a minor message there. So why is the Fool here for Scorpio? What is going on? Thank you. Okay. So we do have the Six of Cups in the upright underneath the Fool. For some of you, you might make a return to the past in one way or fashion, whether it's like doing something that you've already done, or revisiting something, or going to a place that you're already from. There is some sort of link to the past where it's like, okay, the way forward is through a place you've already been. I don't know how that fits with your situation or how it will elapse for you, but when I see the Six of Cups with the Fool card, to me, it's like, okay, well, you've already walked a similar road. You've already been through similar things, and you've already figured it out. You just kind of have to do it again. Now, there's other messages coming through here. We do have the Six of Cups, and it is my card of the past. It's also a card of soul ties, soul bonds. For a lot of you, there could be very influential people coming into your life in this time. So this could be Spirit giving you a heads up, like Scorpio. A very important person could be coming into your life very soon. Okay, now that could be a friend, it could be something different. But for a portion of you, this is a very influential person that's showing up in the energy. But aside from that, if you are going through any situations, the resolution to what we were feeling up here in the front, you already know what to do. It's like you've already done something similar. I don't know why or how that hits for you, but just take it however it hits. We're going to move over to the Tower and see what that has to say. See what this energy of shock is. Then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow card. So yeah, as usual, the Scorpio reading is highly intense and highly entertaining. I wouldn't expect anything less from our collective though, right? Let's see what the Tower has. Why is the Tower here for Scorpio? Thank you. Whoa. Okay. This happens really, really quick. So we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So you're going to absolutely like this Tower. That's one thing I'm going to say. And I do feel somebody saying like, listen, I'm just not going to stress it no more. I'm not going to overthink it no more. I'm just going to act. Like I'm not going to internalize. I'm just going to act. So a lot of you are in an action-oriented energy, even if you're not doing it right now with whatever situations you're dealing with. Now, the Nine of Swords, let's talk about it. Another card that's linked to sleep. So remember that very first Oracle card about dreams? I want to remind you of that. Now, the Nine of Swords is a card that's stressed, it's nervous, it's anxious, it's someone that's bothered by something. So when I see it in reverse underneath a card like the Tower, it's like, I like this Tower. I'm happy about it, okay? And if there's any sign that can roll with the energy of shock and remaking things, that would be Scorpio energy. So whether this is a shocking win or victory, it could absolutely be one where it's like, all right, well, that turned out way better than I thought. I like this. Or For a portion of you, again, the action, where it goes from like, yeah, well, I'm not sitting back any longer. Now's the time to make something happen. So I feel like it could be one or the other, or even both, where it's like, yeah, I'm springing into action and it's like very shocking and fast, or one, something turns out way better than you think it will. I like it. I feel like it's claimable energy to me. Other people might not, but let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card, Scorpio. Very intriguing reading this week, as usual. But if you kindly look in the box, position number 1, we have the Magician with the Page of Swords in reverse. Now, this gave me a couple of different messages. First, I felt like there might be something you're not paying much mind to, like out of sight, out of mind, something you might be ignoring. But aside from that, I felt like this is an energy of saying, now it's time to act. I'm not going to sit back anymore. Time to make a move, time to make an action. So whether that's coming from your side or somebody else's side, it's like, now's the time to pounce. Moving over to the second position, we do have the full card with the 6 of Cups in the upright. Now, a big thing I mentioned here was that for a good chunk of you, there might be a very important person entering or re-entering your life in this time. So keep your eyes open for that. Someone that is going to have big influence moving forward. But aside from that message, there was a particular one about the way forward is going through the past. So for some of you, you might need to return to a place or return to a method that you once did to figure out your current situation. The key to the future is the past. I don't know how that hits or what it hits for, but just internalize that and think about it, because that's what I was picking up here in the middle. On to the back end, we do have the Tower with the 9 of Swords in reverse, and this does not feel like a bad Tower to me. To me, it feels like you are going to be happy with the result. So it could be a shocking winner victory showing up for you here on the back end, but there's no stress, there's no care about it. So it could be connected with the action that's being taken, where it's like, okay, I'm going to make a move that worked way better than I thought it would, like things being shockingly good. So I'm loving the Tower. I'm liking the whole spread as a whole. So please, Scorpio, please take a picture of that, a screenshot, and look into it further if you'd like. Let's see what's in the shadows. Shuffle it up here one time and see what shadow card we have for you, because especially with what we were seeing this week, I'm liking the reading we had. So let's see what shadows or shadow card we have for Scorpio here. And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this. And as you know, I always like to pull one just to see whether it's something within you or something you might not see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you've made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out here for my Scorpios, please. What's going on? Guides and Spirit Team. Quick, very, very quick. 9 of Pentacles, very independent type of card showing up here in the shadows. Now, there can be some warnings here about materialism or anything dealing with the material, money, or business. So that is something to keep watch of. Now, with the Shadowland Tarot, it does depict the cards in their shadow form, shadow state. The 9 of Pentacles is hyper independent. No, I will do it on my own. I don't need help. I don't need assistance. And I mean, independence, that's a very Scorpionic trait, if you ask me. Correct me if I'm wrong. We are very much that type from what I know about Scorpio energy. And the 9 of Pentacles is usually very blessed and abundant. So for a lot of you, this could be a really great card, especially with the reading we had, that you have some major abundance coming into your life. Anything that you do independently as well. So this is great for business. But one thing I will say about the shadow side of the 9 of Pentacles is that it's almost there. It's right towards the end of something, but it doesn't finish it for whatever reason. So make sure you have some follow through in this time with whatever it is you're dealing with. Like if you say it, do it. If you start something, make sure you finish it. A portion of you might be feeling a little stuck or imprisoned when this card is here, but I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing. I feel like with the action and the Tower we saw within the spread itself, this 9 of Pentacles could be very good and filled with blessings for a lot of you. So Scorpio, that's what I have for you this week, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the July. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out my digital calendar at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The link is down below. But for the July subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of another one of my favorite decks, the Wizard's Tarot. Absolutely beautiful and works great. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, since I have the travel bug lately, let me know down in the comments what is the most beautiful place you visited in person. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.